Okay, so we're sitting here with my buddy Jay, and we're at his sugar shack, his evaporator. This is a homemade.
It's a 2x5.
2x5 with a old wood stove, and so tell us a little bit about it. Give us kind of the walkthrough.
So what I've got here is I got an old wood stove that I cut a large part of the top off, and then cut a hole out of the bottom or the back of it. Then I took some angle iron, extended it out. So overall, it's about 68 inches long, and my pan is a 2x5 with the warmer up here. So when I did that, I almost made the mistake of making it 24 inches wide. So the actual pan, I tried doing a divided pan, and the wells in the bottom weren't quite tight enough to keep that from flowing back and forth.
So that's the same thing as our pan. The dividers are just tack welded in, so everything kind of mixes, right?
Yep. So when I did the heater, I almost did it 24 wide, just like my bottom pan, and then realized, hey, if I do that, it's going to drop right in there. So last minute, I was able to keep myself from having to do that. So with this right here, it's amazing. I've got ceramic blanket lining the whole inside of the heater. I've got fire brick, cemented it, line inside of that with the ceramic blanket as well.
And how many gallons per hour does this thing?
Right now, I'm getting 12 to 15 gallons an hour. It's the best calculation. So it's putting out the steam.
It's amazing.
So
and can't see it on camera now, but he's got a blower down here into the firebox, and which really he just stoked it, and it took right back off. It's amazing. I like that. How much? What do you have? 10 feet, 12 feet of stack on it?
I've got about 13 feet of stack on it. So I've got two 5-foot sections plus the about 3 foot there, and then my little homemade top to keep the rain out of it. So
I like it. All right, so tell us about where you're collecting sap from, how you're getting it from there to here, and kind of how you get it from your storage tank into the evaporator.
So we tap some friends of ours, trees. They live about 3 miles away from here, and he did it with his grandpa when he was a kid. So he lives on that property. He just doesn't have time to do maple syrup.
How many taps is it?
So we've got 25 trees that we tap. Each tap right now we've got one on.
Okay.
So and there's probably about another 10 trees that we could tap.
Yeah.
So last year did it with propane on a small pan. So, and that we're boiling every day, all day.
Yeah.
So
costs money too.
Costs money. So we basically broke even as far as what we paid in propane is what we would have bought the maple syrup. But
it's a good video.
Yeah. So, which is why we made this, is to where we just had so much sap last year that we just couldn't handle it. But we've got buckets there, so we've got lines going to 5-gallon buckets.
Gotcha.
So he's got a 3-wheeler with a trailer that we borrow and go out there and just take 5-gallon buckets and dump in 5-gallon buckets and bring it back.
Nice. All right, so you got 25 taps.
Yep.
Bigger trees?
Not really. Average size tree. I mean, there's a couple of them that we might be able to put a couple of taps in, but not really worth it at this point for us to try to do that.
So you're running tubes into buckets, hauling with a 3-wheeler.
Yep.
Then put that into a
what? So we got one of the IBC or IB 250 gallon tanks.
Yep.
Yep. And then we draw that off into a 5-gallon bucket and haul it over here. So we keep the tank in our garage and keep the garage as cold as we can keep it. So.
Yeah. And so off of 25 taps, you said you're now going to be finishing 12 gallons
That's what
of
we're
syrup off
for.
of 25 taps, which is amazing.
Yes.
We've got somewhere around 80 taps this year, and we hit 15 gallons of syrup. So you're killing it.
Yeah.
which is awesome. Do you use any defoamer or anything like that? Do you?
So
what do you have? Oh, there it is. Okay.
So yeah, we got this the first year we did it, not knowing much of anything about the stuff, and we're like, okay. Went online, read a couple forums. Okay, you need this stuff. Okay, went to Ace, and bought a starter kit of, you know, bags and stuff like that, and tap tin trees.
Gotcha.
So smart enough to get the hydrometer right out of the first year. And
Yeah. Did better than me. My first year I did, I tapped, I think 3 trees, 2 of them were oaks.
So I can't say that I tapped all maple trees that first year.
Yeah.
But when I wasn't getting any sap out of it, I went to a different tree.
Yeah. Yeah.
So learned the hard way, well, almost the hard way this year about having to let that pan cool off before you start drawing stuff off.
Yeah.
To where we ended up dumping about 2 gallons of distilled water into it.
Yeah.
Like after started drawing some off, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is starting to, you know, just get real thick real fast.
Yeah. So almost scorched it, but saved it.
So luckily we have, Kristen makes kombucha.
Yeah.
So she makes that, so we've got distilled water on hand. So
Good.
Was able to get a couple of 2-gallon containers and just
Pour them in quick.
Yeah, it's used with the propane. You turn off the propane, and
yeah, the heat's gone.
The heat's gone.
Yeah, you got fire brick in there, I assume. Yeah. All right, so that retains the heat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. When we finish ours, let the fire die completely out, and we don't even think about drawing off until I can stick my hand in the firebox and leave it in there. You know,
Yep.
If I can do that, I figure it's good to draw off. And haven't had an issue with scorching on ours yet, thankfully. So when you're done, you let it die down. You'll draw off one big batch, fill it up with. Do you wash the pan out every time afterwards?
I do.
Yeah.
I have been.
So what do you do? Do you is there a handle on the pan?
Yep. So the handle on the pan.
So 2 of you lift it up and take it off, or can you handle it yourself?
I can handle myself when it's empty. So typically leave it right there on there, and we'll just bring out a couple 5-gallon buckets of hot water.
Okay.
Put it in there, mop all the sides down, let it kind of just steam for a while, and then get another 5-gallon bucket and just go in with a rag and just scrub her down.
Gotcha.
So we
and then just drain it off.
just drain it off. I mean, you can see.
Yeah. So where'd you get all your wood from? I know
So
you and I cut some over at Andy's, but that's probably not this wood.
this is not this. So I actually bought 3.5 cords of slab wood.
Okay.
So
What'd that run you?
I want to say
Roughly.
under $200.
Okay.
You know, so it was really cheap. Delivered.
Oh,
So
yeah.
they brought it in one of the big dumpsters and dumped it right over there, and I took it from there, piled up about a cord and a half here, and about a cord in the garage. I had no idea how much wood I was going to be using this year. So,
and your system's very efficient. I mean, relative to ours anyway. So you've used a lot less wood, made just about the same amount of syrup as us, which is awesome, on less than half the amount of trees.
Yeah.
Which has got me jealous.
and I'm going to accredit that to the blower. I mean, so
Yeah.
You know, I don't know how long the wood would burn without the blower, because that blower just instantly gets this wood going.
Yeah, it does.
But you know, as soon as I turn that blower off to fill it up, the boil just kind of goes down to a little bit of a trickle, compared to the roaring boil I get.
Yeah, because this is kind of how our pan boils most of the time, right like this, which is natural draw. So what do you do to finish? Do you throw it on a turkey fryer?
Got a turkey fryer. So we bought a pan with a pot with a spout on the bottom of it.
Okay.
So you basically a turkey fryer type pot, and we'll finish it in that.
Yeah.
And then from there we'll draw it off into another giant pot. Filter it right there. We got a 8-quart cone filter.
Okay.
That we just got this year, and
Nice.
go with that. And
You do the pre-filters inside the cone filter? Yeah.
so do pre-filters inside of that. And then after we've got that filtered, we'll take it inside and finish it. Well, after we get the turkey fryer, when it's just about there, a lot of times we'll take it inside
on the stove,
on the
for more
stove,
control.
and that way it's right there watching all the time. We've lost way too many too much syrup in the last 3 years.
Yeah.
You know, walking away from the turkey fryer for a couple minutes, doing something inside, and it boils over.
I had to boil over yesterday.
We lost some this year, and that was heartbreaking.
I didn't lose much. I was I had just dumped the rest of my almost syrup through the filter into the turkey fryer, and that kills the boil, right?
Yep.
So I cranked the propane up, and you know, there's this much in the basket draining out, right? And I'm sitting there and I'm watching Game of Thrones on my phone. I'm sitting right in front of it, a foot from it, right? And I got into Game of Thrones and I forgot about that heat, and all of a sudden it all boiled up, and I killed it quick. But I lost a little bit, you know. It's not fun.
No.
Not too proud to admit that I screwed up.
That beats burning it though.
Yeah.
So we burnt a batch of it last year, learning the new system, and just each year it's like, okay, what mistakes am I gonna make with the new setup?
Yeah. So you got it on the stove. How do you get it in the bottle? Do you do mason jars?
We do mason jars.
Okay, yeah.
So once we get it in the other giant pot that we have, then we'll have cleaned out the one with the spout on it.
Yep.
And then we'll pour it back into that, and we've got a little propane camp burner.
Okay.
So we'll put that under it, and that way you can just keep it
at a temperature.
At a temperature of about 190 is what we try to get it at.
Yeah.
And then we just bottle it right out there, and it's so nice with that spout on it, to where you can just turn it on and off instead of trying to ladle it in there and stuff like that. So
that's awesome. All right, man. Thanks for having me out.
Glad to have you.
Loved to see your setup. It was awesome. And guys, stick around if you like this. I'm going to try to get out to a couple more sugar shacks here, maybe during the off season, because in Michigan here the season's just about over. But yeah, stick around.